A budget originally reported to be $130 million, instead revealed to be $270 million.
A projected domestic box office of $80 million, instead rakes in under $50 million.
Making it the worst box office opening in MCU history. Hello everyone, I am Inspector Kido.
And I'm Detective Meo.
And we're here to present you with a simplified timeline of how the Marvels became a $400 million disaster.
Oh dear. According to some more recent articles, it seems like this movie might have to make $600 to $700 million in order to break even. So, yeah, not looking good.
2018.
Even before the release of the original Captain Marvel, things were a bit sus. Rumors started to circulate around the web that they were priming Captain Marvel, a new character that no one had yet seen, to be the new lead of the MCU, supplanting the likes of Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, and the like. Not that one. Or that one. There we go.
Tension continued to build after Kevin Feige, the studio exec behind the MCU, envisioned a time when more than half the Marvel heroes would be female. This female-focused agenda would later be dubbed by the internet as the MSHU.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him.
2019.
Early 2019, Marvel confirms their plans to push Carol Danvers to the forefront.
She was at the forefront, and it was a great foreshadowing, not just for how audiences are going to embrace Brie as this character, but also for how Captain Marvel is about to take the lead and be at the forefront of the entire cinematic universe.
This was met with a mixed to negative response by hardcore MCU fans and comic geeks alike. General audiences did not care. Well, maybe some of them cared.
Captain Marvel was released to mixed reviews, to say the least. There's a so-called review bombing issue with Rotten Tomatoes, which we cover in more detail in another video. However, all you need to know is that some reviews were deleted, there were some supposed trolls, and overall nobody was left happy in the situation.
Due to being sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame, Captain Marvel ended up making $1,128,274,794. Give or take. Disney confirmed they would be making a sequel to the movie, to the surprise of absolutely nobody.
Captain Marvel had a rather small part in Endgame. According to Christopher Marcus, one of the writers, this is because Carol Danvers was already cast in the movie, even though they already had a script that was going to focus around the original 6 Avengers. They couldn't relegate her to a cameo, but they also couldn't have her fly in and fix everything.
The problems of working with an overpowered the problems of working with an overpowered character. Surely they won't run into that again later. 2020.
In April, Disney announces a release date of July 2022 for the then called Captain Marvel 2. Not much else happened this year. 2021.
Monica Rambeu is introduced into the show Wandavision as a side/main character, and the show was received very positively and had a large initial viewership.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Captain Marvel 2 is then subtly named The Marvels and given a new, later 2022 release date.
The synopsis revealed that Carol Danvers would be joined by Monica Rambeu and Kamala Khan. Interestingly enough, it seems that the movie was supposed to be released after Wakanda Forever and before Quantumania, so it's supposed to kind of be the finale to Phase 4.
There was no official reason stated by Disney about why Captain Marvel 2 was renamed The Marvels, but there was a rumor started by Giant Freaking Robot that suggests that the movie's change wasn't just for story reasons, but because the studio was not sure if Carol Danvers would be able to lead the movie herself.
But that's just a rumor.
2022.
The movie would end up being delayed once again, placing it in Phase 5. This new delay lands it in February 2023.
Later that year, Ms. Marvel is introduced into the MCU. Unfortunately, it happened to be the lowest viewed MCU series on the platform.
Nobody cared!
In September, Brie Larson suggests in an interview that she may not return to the role due to criticism and backlash she received in 2019. In the next month, in October, supposedly a leak appeared on the internet containing many plot details for the movie.
These would end up being true.
2023.
Another delay would move the film to July 2023, and later that year there'd be another delay, then placing it in November. This is apparently to give more time for post-production.
In June, Secret Invasion is released to a very low viewership, but also creates some major continuity issues concerning events that take place in the Marvels itself. The next month, the writer strike starts, preventing actors and actresses from promoting the movie. One might argue that this might have worked in the benefit of the movie, considering that Brie Larson isn't exactly highly favored. Sadly, they would have to turn to the ununionized cats. More on that later.
In August, Rumors state that the movie suffered very poor reception during the test screenings, again by Giant Freaking Robot. And then not too long afterwards, we learned that this would be the shortest MCU movie ever. And according to the director, this was on purpose. Most people assumed the movie would be around 2 hours and 2.5 hours like most MCU movies, and it almost certainly was, so quite a bit was cut. According to Time to Shine Hello on Twitter, X, this was mostly the musical planet scenes.
In October, more plot details would leak. This would reveal this about the entire plot of the movie, including the post-credits scene. Later, initial pieces of info suggested that the Marvels would have, as Screen Rant put it, a refreshingly low budget for a tentpole MCU film at about $130 million. Unfortunately, that would end up being a mistake on the reporter's part, and the true mammoth budget was revealed
to be over $270 million. Now
that's a lot of damage!
Placing it as the 4th most expensive MCU movie, just under Infinity War.
Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
Luckily for the movie, it did receive $55 million in subsidies from the UK, because every little bit helps.
Mid-October, the movie's box office predictions were very low, thought to be around $75 to $80 million. But still, some people held out that it might make more than that.
This might not include Brie Larson herself, who once again voiced that she might not be returning to the role of Captain Marvel.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
That was awkward.
In late October, the now infamous piece by Variety revealed the troubles behind the scenes of the MCU.
And revealed that the Marvels had 4 weeks of potentially extensive reshoots.
Let's check on those box office numbers. Ooh. Dropped to 60 to 65 million. That placed it as one of the lowest performing opening weekends of the MCU, if that would prove correct.
Remember those test screenings from earlier? Well, after a new round of test screenings, it seems that the movie was still considered a mess.
Film pre-sales opened and turned out to be lower than that of The Flash, a DC movie with a very, very mixed reputation. Not a good sign.
Onto some of the promotion. There was an entire catch stream, a flirkin' stream if you would.
This is a rather bizarre attempt to market the Marvels. I suppose you can't use the star power, but I don't know, it seems a little desperate. This is definitely a different attempt at marketing, but at least some cats got adopted.
We'll show some clips here to kind of give you an idea about how weird it was.
Interestingly enough, in the year 2019, there was a live stream for the film Captain Marvel featuring Goose the cat. This was received a lot more positively, possibly because the production quality was better, and possibly because people weren't as negative about it. Either way, a live stream featuring cats was not entirely unwarranted. It seems that in some countries, the movie is still being called Captain Marvel 2.
Probably trying to entice people in with a more familiar sounding name, perhaps. Because the marketing budgets for movies are typically the same as the actual budget for the movie themselves, and the fact that theaters typically take a cut, it's estimated that the Marvels would have to make over $400 million just to break even. Possibly closer to $500 million because it's kind of hard to quantify some things.
Once again, that $55 million subsidy from the UK helps a bit. And now, The Marvels has been released.
Cool.
Good, it's super cool. Yes.
A flirkin on the sphere.
A giant flickin' flirkin. That's very awesome.
A giant freaking
Yes.
flirkin.
Enough!
And just as predicted, it's failing badly.
The movie made $47 million opening domestically, making it undisputedly the worst opening in MCU history. Below movies such as Incredible Hulk and Ant-Man that really did not perform that well.
And it appears to be tracking to lose Disney a whole lot of money.
Unless, of course, it all of a sudden blows up internationally, which it did make some money internationally. I don't think this movie's gonna come close to what it needs to make to break even.
Ant-Man Quantumania did not do well. However, the Marvels could prove to be the MCU's first box office bomb. Complete disaster. No survivors.
Several months later.
Meo in the future. Kido is kind of sick right now, so I will be recording this section by myself. But he will be here in spirit. Turns out in the second week, The Marvels suffered a box office drop of 79%, setting a new record. Now it has the largest drop of any comic book movie ever, beating the previous record of 74% set by Sony's Morbius. Probably not the kind of records they wanted to be setting. No wonder the movie didn't do very well. It didn't have any famous lines like "It's Morbin time." Although it was interesting when they said it was Marvel in time. Despite the dismal performance, the movie did snag one positive record record. The movie is officially the highest grossing movie by a black female director, so yay for them, I guess. It beat A Wrinkle in Time, which by all reports barely made back its budget, and likely lost money. Later on throughout November, there's the usual deflection of any criticism that occurred, the blaming of sexist trolls, yada yada, pretty standard stuff. When we got to the Thanksgiving weekend, the Marvels didn't even make 10 million, so people were not enthused by the prospect of seeing this movie. Rather odd considering that Marvel movies used to be considered the safe choice for family movies. Miss Marvel actress Iman Vellani, I think I'm saying that correctly, stated that the box office performance is out of her control. It is now a problem for Bob Iger, which, you know, is a solid take, I suppose. All she is the actress. She didn't write the script and she's not handling the marketing or anything of that sort. However, with Bob Iger, when he weighed in on the subject at the New York Times Deal Book Summit, he said that the movie lacked supervision. Wait, like Superman? Wait, that's not one of Captain Marvel's powers. This kind of throws Nia Dacosta under the proverbial bus, since she was the director, and if the execs weren't in charge, I guess she was. To be fair, I don't really like the movie and I think she did a pretty crummy job. But looking at a bunch of the other box office flops Disney has had this year, I doubt the Marvels exclusively suffered for this reason. There are plenty of other horrible movies that had executive fingers all over it, so I don't think they really would have helped. That said, this does explain a little bit of why there were so many reshoots, because the executives, I guess, weren't paying attention. I guess they've never heard of Zoom. As of now, the Marvels has still not made back its budget, and it's quite possible it won't. The MCU and Disney have taken a massive L with this one, and it seems like they are clamoring to try to figure out how to make the MCU profitable again. And we'll have to see how that plays out. But until then, thanks for watching this video. Uploads may be a bit slow during this period. However, we have plenty of other uploads, such as this one over here, or maybe this one over here. I'll see you in those, but until then, I'm Meo, and Kido's around here somewhere, and we hope you have a blessed day. Bye!